So, here we are, part 2 of Doom, now that it's officially out. So, how is it? Well, let's go over the things from the first part, that being with Pyro, to see what's changed in the multiplayer. Not the whole video, just a quick roundup. So, there is still them stupid emotes for when you win. I'm not a fan, but that's apparently a thing in multiplayer now, so whatever. They have kept the gun customization, which both myself and Pyro think is really damn cool. And yes, the multiplayer has been rebalanced, so things like the Revenant's rockets are now like yours and it takes more than one hit to kill you. As for the other two things that have transferred over from the multiplayer to the single player, that being the graphics and the music, well, the music is still something that is a little to be desired. Don't get me wrong, the sound design as a whole is great. They know what noises to put in what areas and at what volumes to give it the right horror vibe. But the music itself is pretty poor. It's just some generic horror music that they got from somewhere. Like, I'm not really rushing out to buy the soundtrack, that's for sure, as there's not even one track that I can really remember all that well. As for the graphics, I'm pleased to say they have been polished up a bit more from the beta version, but not all that much. I mean, some of the metallic surfaces now have a nice metallic shine to it, but it's mostly your bog standard graphics that could have easily been on a PlayStation 3, so not that impressive. As for the gameplay, well, let's start by saying I know quite a few newcomers, like my friend Crimson, who love it. I myself, playing the originals and such, dislike it quite a bit. I'll go over it more in the final verdict, but know that I'm going to be quite negative about this part of the game. It doesn't mean it's a bad game, again more in the final verdict, but it does drag down the experience as a whole. But first, let me say this one first though. The options are absolutely fantastic. The PS4 version actually hits PC levels, and not only does it run at 1080p 60 frames per second with only a few frame dips here and there but nothing noticeable. Not only that, but on a console, you can adjust your FOV. Yes, there is a field of vision slider in a console game, as well as a motion blur slider and even a red, green, blue slider for syncing your colours to your TV or something. I don't know, didn't really mess with that last one. But all these options are fantastic. Other console developers, take notes. Players that own a PC love all of these options, and it's great that console users get them now so that they can experience what PC has been experiencing for quite a while. As for the rest of the gameplay, it kind of sucks to me. It's not that bad, but it's not the Doom that the fans wanted. Like, yes, you're a Marine shooting big guns at Hellspawn, but they were not content to just stop there. No, can't just make the Doom the fans wanted. They had to throw in all sorts of crap from all these other games that was not needed to make the gameplay far more tedious and complicated than it had to be. First off, from Ratchet and Clank, well, I was going to say they just took the bolts, but let's be honest, they pretty much took everything from Ratchet and Clank. So, first thing they took from Ratchet and Clank was every gun you find is now permanent. You cannot lose it due to something that's coming up in the moment. The second thing they took from Ratchet and Clank is basically bolts. So when you kill an enemy, as you can see here, a whole bunch of gold or blue bolts will fly out of them, which will provide use later on. Third thing they took from Ratchet and Clank is basically raritanium. So around the levels, usually in secret areas, you'll find dead Marines that are, as I said, in secret rooms and such, and for every one you find, you get a little chip out of them. This is the Raritanium from Ratchet and Clank, and like Raritanium, this chip is used to upgrade your Marine, giving him more health and stuff. But Spyro, Raritanium does not upgrade you in Ratchet and Clank, it upgrades your weapons. Well, about that, remember mere moments ago when I showed you the monster dropping bolts? Well, they're not exactly bolts, but you can guess what they're for. You see, when fighting enemies, they will drop bolts of two different colours, gold and blue, and depending on the method of defeat, depends on the payout you get. A normal gunshot death, small to normal payout. However, if you weaken them till they're glowing orange like so, you can finish them with a glory kill, which is basically just a quick time event, because of course Doom needed quick time events to get bigger prizes. Now, as for these prizes, blue bolts are health, so as long as you QTE every monster, you're never really going to run out of health. And the gold bolts are meld. No, you did not hear that wrong. It's meld that can be used to upgrade your weapons via this upgrade tree here, because again, Doom really needed an upgrade system. And then there is also these fucking rune stones for this perk wheel, because again, Doom really needed this. Also, don't believe me that it's XCOM 2 meld. Look at this shit. Here is a picture of XCOM meld, a triangle with a dot in it. Now here is Doom's meld, a triangle with a dot in it. And here is the two side by side. Like, are you for real? You were so busy with your shitty quick time events that you could not even be asked to make your own meld logo? Not that meld should even be in the game, but whatever. And, you know, if you're gonna steal things from XCOM 2, at least give me some nice snake boobs to look at, rather than this shit. As I say this because, again, the graphics leave a little bit to be desired, and everything looks like it could have been on the PS3. And it's all very whitewashed as well now that I'm bringing up the graphics. You know, I get it's not supposed to be Overwatch, Ratchet and Clank, super bright colours, but you know, hell is supposed to be red. Like, blood red. But it's been so whitewashed that it's more a rose red now. So when you combine these subpar graphics with the whitewashed colours, it just makes it look like every other dull-ass shooter that's coming out this year. So, you know, here is a Viper Girl to ease your eyes while I move on to the final verdict. So, mine and Viper's final verdict for Doom 2016 is a subpar 2 out of 5. Doom, even as a new game, already feels dated and out of time. Quick time finishers have been dead for a while now, and Gears of War, Halo and other space shooters have long outstayed their welcome, as shown by the new Call of Duty Infinite War trailer that's going to space, as, you know, 2.2 million dislikes in a week. Now don't get me wrong here, it's not a bad game. As I say, there are quite a few that like it, and if given the right arguments, I could be pushed to take this to a 3 out of 5. But even the newcomers that like the game all have one thing in common that relates to the multiplayer that I'll come to in a moment. And as for the fans, again, while saying it's not bad, it's not what they wanted, really, and it comes back to what's about to happen. As for me, the best way to sum it up is this Doom is like them new crappy TV reboots, like the Powerpuff Girls or Teen Titans Go, resembling the original in names and places only, trying to fill their show with things like the Me Gusta meme, to try and be relevant, but only dating itself and speeding up the countdown to its own destruction. Like the multiplayer, it's not bad, but it's dead. No one is playing it all that much, and I can see why. The Battleborn beta, the Overwatch beta, it really shows what multiplayer can do, and as such has already put the nail in the multiplayer part of Doom's coffin. And it all comes down to it being outranked by everything around it. Thus, I say it's already had a countdown put on Doom for it to be forgotten about by the end of the year. Like I said, the servers are pretty much dead, and from what all of the newcomers and the returning Doom fans have told me, it's clear that they're just playing the Doom multiplayer while they wait for Overwatch. And once that, Battleborn and Battlefield 1 come out, then Doom is going to die. Played for a week, then forgotten by the masses for all the other superior shooters that are coming out. And it's because they try to add too much to Doom to make it new. Just like Star Fox Zero, it didn't need quick time finishes. It didn't need an upgrade system. It didn't need those perk runes. If they had just made a new Doom exactly like the original, it might have fared a bit better. I'm not sure how to end it. I mean, if you're a fan of Doom, it's not the Doom that you were promised. But maybe you can find something in it, some kind of nostalgia to get you to play it. It's certainly not worth the full £40, $60, so you might want to wait for it to go on sale. As for the newcomers, again, it's nothing I can really recommend. The single player is pretty much all the other slow single player campaigns that we have seen in other shooters with the same gimmicks like the upgrade system, so it won't impress too much. And again, with the multiplayer, newcomers will have no doubt already played one of the new big three of Overwatch, Battleborn or Battlefield 1 that is getting so much praise on the internet, and they will find Doom's multiplayer pretty good for now, but somewhat lacking, and it will be forgotten about once one of those three comes out. And I would say to the newcomers, just save your money and get one of the original Dooms on Steam. If you really want to try and get into Doom, then this is not the Doom for you. As I say, this Doom, it's just like Teen Titans Go. Doom in name and characters alone, and a lackluster performance in everything else.